So apparently Floyd Mayweather Jr. wants to be a great trainer, as well as having been a great fighter. He released a video recently showing him doing some pad work with his 14-year-old nephew. I love some of those classic Mayweather pad work moves where you end on many jabs to back that opponent up. Now this is of course a period of reflection for all of us where we're figuring out what's going on, what should I do? Do I need to be a nicer person in life? Whatever it is. For Mayweather in particular, because he has recently lost the mother to some of his children and his uncle, Roger Mayweather, who trained him for a lot of his prime years. For a guy who loves the limelight as well, who keeps teasing comebacks, which isn't practical at his age, he's got to know how to make this transition now from a once great fighter into something else to remain in the sport. And if not promoting, training is the next best thing. Now I'm sure that Money May has got lots of great tips and tricks to tell people. Great advice for rookies. A guy with that boxing IQ, surely. He's going to have some nuggets of wisdom. But when it comes to great trainers, they typically were not great fighters. It just seems to be how it works. Either great fighters didn't want to be a trainer, or when they did, they came across as more of a helper role, like Archie Moore in the corner of George Foreman back in 1974. I can only really think of Roy Jones Jr. at the moment, who's a current trainer who used to be a great fighter. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's built anybody up from scratch or made any dramatic improvements to anybody on the world stage who's then gone on to grab some titles. Typically, the guys who were great, legendary trainers were either guys who didn't turn pro, like Eddie Futch and Manny Stewart, or barely fought at all, like Ray Arcel or Custamato. I think he only had one amateur fight. Or Freddie Roach, who did turn pro, but wasn't a particularly great fighter. I don't believe won any world titles, wasn't exactly a slickster in there, but a great trainer. They are different viewpoints, different mindsets. The trainer is the architect, the fighter is the builder. And even though the great fighter will often have a big ego and want to tell you how it's supposed to be done, and you'll always naturally somewhat concede if you talk to him tactically, the fact is he doesn't always see things that a trainer does, and that's the whole point. That's why there's trainers, and that's why there's fighters. Floyd Mayweather Jr., again, while I'm sure he could give you some great tips, I'm not so sure, at least the odds are saying it's doubtful, that he is going to be some master tactician like an Eddie Futch, a Jack Blackburn, a Freddie Roach. It's very unlikely. What do you think? Is this just a little emotional whim of him wanting to feel like to give his life some structure that I'm going to be a trainer from now on? Or do you think he's going to have a real good go of it when this pandemic clears? And will he be able to be a truly great trainer? What do you think?